I'm gonna take this off. Okay, so exponents, we learned this in Algebra 1, okay? So it's kind of a review, but also we didn't do it so much with the fractions as much in Algebra 1, that's why we kind of just did a fraction review. This list tells you 5 powers or properties of rational exponents, okay, like rules that you can use. These are the names, the first column. The second column is the formula for it. It will be on the formula chart if we take a checkpoint, okay? So you will be able to use this if you understand what this is saying. And then the third column is an example of each one, okay? The first one is the product of powers. Okay, and they already use m and n, just like we did last time. They like to use those variables when we're talking about exponents. Okay, just like b is always the y-intercept. Here, m and n are the ones they use for exponents. Okay, so they're not exactly the same m and n every time. But if you have some multiplying two things with the same base, different exponents, you add the exponents together, n plus n. All right, that's the product of powers. Quotient of powers is if you're dividing, okay, when you multiply, you add the exponents. When you divide, you subtract the exponents. All right, it goes together. Top minus bottom. Third one is power of a power. If you have something inside the parentheses with an exponent and an exponent outside the parentheses, you multiply those exponents together. Right? That one's adding, this one's multiplying. So you need to pay attention to which property we're using to make sure you're doing it right. Rational exponent, this is what we did last class, right? It's going between the fraction exponent to the radical, where the n and the n are the same. But this is what we did last class, where we put them in the right order. Remember, we did the matching. Okay, we just did that on the orange paper. And also negative exponent, we did this last class as well. Remember, if the exponent is negative, you need to put the thing with the negative exponent to the bottom of the fraction. If it's already on the bottom, flip it to the top, okay? So you're just flipping it to the other side of the fraction line. What I want us to do here is we're going to label these A, B, C, D, and E, okay? That's just for our purposes, for your notes. It's not like a official thing, but we'll label them. This one A, this one B, this one C, this one D, and this one E. This way, when we're doing the problems, we can mark which property we used, so you kind of know what type of problem it was. Okay, it's just for our notes so that we understand what we're doing a little bit better. We're going to have 10 problems, just so you know what to expect. And first one, we'll do x to the 1/2 times x to the 1/2. Looking at our properties at the top, which one do you think that we're going to need to use? Which one looks similar? I need more people to answer. Right, same base, both have exponents, no parentheses. Which one is it? A, right? A. Okay, and what they did there is they added the exponents together. Okay, so since we're multiplying, we're going to use A. I'm going to put a little A there so that I know that is the one that I used. And then that's going to be x, keep the same base, and you add the exponents together. 1/2 plus 1/2. Okay, well, so what is 1/2 plus 1/2? They have the same denominator. So it's 2/2, right? As 1 plus 1 is 2, all over 2. And then 2 divided by 2 is 1. Yeah, 1/2 plus 1/2 is a whole. And in fact, you don't even have to put the exponent of 1, right? If you had an answer choice, it would just say x. Okay, so 2/2 make a whole, right? And our answer would be x. Any questions? Okay, number 2, 10 divided by 10 and 3/5. And that's a 3/5 right there. All right, which one of the properties do you think that we will need for this one? B, right? It's a quotient. You're dividing. Okay, and with the dividing, we would do top exponent minus bottom exponent. Okay, so I'm going to write a B here. Right, the top one, the 10, doesn't have an exponent. What does that mean it is? Not 0. We just saw it on number 1. We're at 1. Okay, if there's no exponent at all, it's a 1. So it'll be 10 to the 1 minus 3/5. But like we just saw on our warm-up, in order to subtract, you need to have a fraction here with a like denominator. Okay, so we're going to have to kind of work backwards. 2/2 equals 1. Anything divided by itself equals 1, right? So we can turn this into something divided by itself. Well, what do we need the denominator to be? 5, right? So we can turn this 1 into 5/5. Right, I'm even going to make myself a little note here saying 1 equals 5/5. Okay, we turned it into 5/5 because we needed a 5 here. You can turn it into whatever divided by itself, whatever you need the denominator to be. Okay, we already had 5, so we turned it into a 5. So what do we get here? 10 to the what? 2/5, right? 5 minus 3 is 2.